Welcome to our pitch video for mobile and IoT security. Our project is on ID and badge scanner security. My name is Mitchell, and my teammates are Ryan, Cincy, and Ohm. Our project is that CMU uses HID I-class and Signal badge readers. According to HID, these newer generation access control products incorporate encryption that significantly lowers the risk of card cloning and data integrity attacks. Our goal is to test HID security assertions by attempting to replicate student credentials and analyze the resilience of their encryption. Our secondary objective is to then emulate the student's NFC signal from our phones. In terms of the state-of-the-art protocol, traditional badge systems expose static IDs in plain text, and these could be trivially read and cloned. However, HID's badge scanners today, such as the iClass SE and CEOS, replace static identifiers with cryptographically protected credentials. Their protocol uses a challenge-answer protocol, making it exceptionally hard to clone. In simple, the badge scanner sends a nonce, which the card then performs a calculation using its private key. And this private key is burned into the hardware of the card, so it cannot be read or copied easily.
So each response to the card reader is different based on the challenge it gives. You might be wondering how a card without an internal battery is able to solve any kind of challenge at all. Since it has to compute a response, it must be getting power from somewhere. The reader continuously emits an RF field so that when a card is near, its internal coil is able to harvest energy and allow the chip to communicate with the card reader. The card reader pulls for nearby cards and asks for their UID so that it can differentiate between them. Card reader will send a random challenge called a nonce, and then the card will do computation with its stored key, and this is typically just encrypting the nonce with its stored key. And then the card will send the response, and the reader will verify that the response is correct using its own key. This way, no keys or secret information can be intercepted, but the card reader is still able to authenticate the card's identity.
So here are some other state-of-the-art. The first one is MyFear Deathspire EV3. It's owned by NXP. It's a contactless smart card. And for encryption, also use 3DES, which is applied data encryption standard for 3 times, and AES 128, which is advanced encryption standard with a 128 bits key. It also uses challenge response, which was introduced as challenge answer in our previous slides. So basically the reader sends a random number to the card and the card encrypt it with its private key and send it back, vice versa. Sometimes the card will also check the reader and the key itself is never sent, so it's really safe. It can load at most 32 applications with different keys and they support rolling keys. Also, it has some anti-clone features, such as transaction MAC, secure unique NFC message. The other state-of-the-art is HID SE and SEALs, which we introduced at the very beginning. This is also what CMU is using. It's owned by HIB Global, and for SE, it uses a symmetric encryption based on AES 128. And for SEALs, it uses AES 256 with 256 bits key. It also uses challenge response and multiple applications, but for anti-clone, it has a data structure called SIO. It's like a container packing the identities in it and encrypted. So you need to have a private key to decrypt it, but it doesn't make sense if you have a private key and you still need to clone the card. And for seals, it can update the key with seals online platform. So it's a different ecosystem that other than the SE. There's some other state-of-the-art, such as Felica Secure Type, or Apple Wallet, or Logic Advent. They're pretty much the same techniques, but they have different ecosystem. They all use challenge response. They have encrypted communication identity. Sometimes they have online platform, and they can all load multiple applications with different keys. And sometimes they integrate different functions in a key. And they are all made by different countries and different companies, so they might have different markets.
All three of these devices are Swiss Army knife tools used for analyzing, modifying, and writing to various NFC card types. The Proxmark 3 devices are specifically made for RFID devices, while the Flipper Zero has sub-1 GHz radio, Bluetooth, and RFID tools. The Proxmark 3 notably has functionalities for extracting encrypted card keys, which for our IDs would be achieved with the AutoPwn command. The Proxmark devices also come with magic cards, which means they are fully read-writable, unlike most cards which have a read-only sector 0. The general Android landscape for non-credit card NFC tools is fairly limited. There are many apps that can read NFC card data, but most can't do much more. MyFair Classic tool is one of the best options since it can read and write to NFC cards. There are much fewer NFC emulators. We found one complete solution that needed root access, and one incomplete GitHub project of an app that emulated MyFair cards. One of our objectives is to make an open source NFC wallet that works without root, similar to NFC Emulator. Ideally, it can hold clone cards as well.